Welcome back to the social class, dear students. This is 8th standard social video class. We are going to start lesson 6 from history, development of industries in India. So page number 58 in your book. Yes, introduction. So what is the introduction? The history of Indian industry perhaps dates back to the history of humankind. India's traditional economy was characterized by a blend of agriculture and handicrafts. So, our Indian traditional economy was characterized by a main source of occupations. What were they? Agriculture and handicrafts. So, these both were the main source of occupation of our India. Got it? Yes, agriculture and handicrafts. Okay. According to Edward Baines, the birthplace of cotton manufacture is India. So, the birthplace of cotton manufacture is which country? Our country, Indian country. Okay, where it probably flourished long before the dawn of authentic history. Dawn is nothing but beginning. Okay, so from the beginning of our history itself, the cotton manufacturing was there in India, in our country. Okay, Bernier, who visited India during the reign of Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan. Mughal Emperor's name was what? Shah Jahan. Bernier, okay, he visited India. He was marveled at the incredible quantity of manufactured goods. There were many manufactured goods available in our country. Okay, so this Bernier, he marveled about many manufacturing goods. Okay, next, Tavernier, he was a French traveler. He admired many things from our country, named peacock throne, carpets of silk and gold, as well as mini carvings. Okay, so there were many marveling things in our country. Okay, next, traditional crafts of India. So we'll see what were the traditional crafts of India. The crafts in India has a rich history. So we have a huge history regarding crafts. So what is craft? Handmade things, isn't it? Yes. Crafts were an integral part in the life of the people. Before our arrival of mechanized industry, the production of Indian handicrafts was the second largest source of employment in rural India, next to agriculture. So when proper mechanized industry could reach or arrive our country, these crafts were the second largest source of employment, okay, which is next to agriculture. Okay, first agriculture was the main occupation of our country's people, and the second one was craft. Okay, the traditional Indian industry was known in the fields of textiles, woodwork, ivory, stone, so there is stone cutting, leather, fragrance wood, metal work and jewelry. So these were the main fields of Indian industry. What were they? Textiles, woodwork, ivory, stone cutting, leather, fragrance wood, metal work and jewelry. Okay, the village artisans such as potters, weavers, smiths produce articles and utensils for domestic uses. So apart from this, many village artisans were there. Who were they? Potters. Okay, potters, those who make pots, right? Paana seiravanga, yeah, kali mannula paana seiravanga, mannula paana seiravanga, right? So weavers, those who are weaving cloths. Okay, smiths are nothing but goldsmith, blacksmith. Okay, so these were other articles, and some were producing utensils, vessels. Okay, patram senjanga, okay, for domestic use, for our household use. Okay, but some specialized goods were produced for domestic and international markets. What were they? Very specialized. Some specialized goods were produced for the purpose of international market as well as for the domestic market. What were they? Yes, Some such specialized goods produced were cotton textiles, muslin, wool, silk and metal articles. So these were the special goods produced, okay, produced by our other artisans, Indian artisans, okay. Yes. Next one. There are reference made in many scholarly works to the professions of the weavers, the tailor and the dyer. So many weavers, those who weave cloths, okay, they were tailors and the dyers, those who dye cloths in different colors and those who stitches the cloth in a different dress materials. Got it? Right. Certain centers of metal industry are quite well known. What were they? For example, Saurashtra was known for bell metal, Vanga, that is which is in Bengal, for tin industry, and Dhaka was identified with muslin cloths. Muslin is nothing but it's a kind of cloth, okay. So these are the pictures you could see in your book, page number 58. Okay. Next, we'll see what is muslin of Decca. So Decca is in Bengal. Got it? Okay. Muslin of Decca is nothing but mummies in Egyptian tombs dating from 2000 BC were found wrapped in Indian muslins of the finest quality. Of 50 meters of this thin fabric could be squeezed into a matchbox. See, muslin is a type of cloth, okay, that was used during 2000 BC in Egyptian tombs, okay. Tomb is nothing but was what? That is samadhi, okay va? ஈஜிப்டில் இருக்கக்கூடிய சமாதியில் நிறைய மம்மிஸ், ஓகே, பதப்படுத்தப்பட்ட பாடிஸ், டெட் பாடிஸ், ஓகே, தட் டெட் பாடிஸ் were wrapped by using this finest quality of muslin, okay. இந்த cloth வந்து எப்படி இருக்கும்னா 550 meters fabric cloth வந்து என்ன பண்ண முடியுமா, we can squeeze it inside the small matchbox, so that much thinner will be the muslin cloth, okay. So the mummies were wrapped by this finest quality of muslin. Got it? Yes. Next one is decline of Indian industry. So we'll see how Indian industry got declined. First one is loss of royal patronage. Loss of royal patronage. The British conquest transformed Indian economy, that is self-reliant, into colonial economy. So British conquest, they transformed our Indian economy into colonial economy. We'll see how they did it. As the British conquered the Indian territories, one after another, the native rulers, the nobles and the landlords lost their power and prosperity. So when British people started to enter our country and when they started to conquer our parts of the country and territories, one by one, okay, our native rulers and the nobles and many landlords, they started to lose power and the prosperity also, okay. The demand for the fine articles to be displayed in darbars and other ceremonial occasions disappeared, okay. So many the demand for the fine articles, okay, it should be displayed in the darbars, okay, and other ceremonial occasions also got disappeared. Small ceremonial occasions, they started to disappear, okay. As a result, the craftsmen who were patronized by these rulers lost their importance and became poor. So as a result, what happened? Craftsmen who patronized all this, they lost the importance of the craft and these artisans got disappeared and they become very poor. This artist got disappeared, okay? Craft artists, okay. For generations, these craftsmen had been practicing their craft and they did not possess any other skill. So for long generations, these craftsmen only know how to do craft works alone, okay, but they do not know any other skill apart from the craft work. Okay, so they had to work as laborers in field to meet their daily needs. So when they lost their job as craft persons, they need to work for a daily wages in order to meet their daily needs. Okay, this change resulted in increased pressure on agriculture, and there were large scale underemployment in agriculture. So this resulted in the increased pressure on the agriculture. Okay, and it resulted in the large scale of underemployment. Many had no employment in agriculture. The substitution of commercial food crops in agriculture ruined the Indian agro-based industry. The splendid period of indigenous handicraft industries came to an end as the political influence of the East India Company spread over various parts of the country. Yes. Next is B. Transition from producer to exporter of raw materials. Indian handicrafts that had made the country famous collapsed under the colonial rule. So Indian handicrafts was very famous in those days, and it got collapsed due to what? British entered into India and they started to introduce what? Colonial rules. This was mainly due to the competition posed by the machine-made goods that were imported from Britain by the British rulers. Why these craft works has got declined? Because British people, they imported machine-made goods, okay, from Britain country to our India, and they made many goods out of machine, and they started to sell it in our country as well as they exported to other countries. So craft works got declined due to this. Okay, the ruling British turned India as the producer of raw materials for the industries and markets for their finished products. So what this British ruling did, all the British rulers, they turned our India as a producer of raw materials. They took all the raw materials from our country and they produced many goods out of our country's raw material, and they started to sell it out of our country and they earned more money. Moreover, the railways and roadways introduced by the British facilitated the movement of finished products to reach the remotest parts of India and the procurement of raw materials from these parts. So moreover, they did some good things to our India also, because they introduced roadways as well as railways, and that transportation, it reached many remotest part of our country, and it helped to transfer or transport the goods and raw materials from one part to another part of the place. Okay, so this is the steam engine of those days. Okay, third one is competition of machine made goods. Textile was the oldest industry in India. The oldest industry in India was what? Textile industry. Okay, the highly specialized skills of Indian weavers and the low production cost gave a tough competition to the European manufacturers. The highly skilled, the specialized skill of Indian weavers and the low production cost, they gave a very tough competition for the European manufacturers. Okay, it led to the invention of cotton gin, flying shuttle, spinning jenny, and steam engines in England, which made the production of textiles on large scale. So what they did, they started to invent many machineries for the production purpose. Okay, what were they? Cotton gin, flying shuttle, spinning jenny, and steam engine in England. Okay, and which made all these production textiles on a large scale. India became the market for the finished products of Britain. Okay, for all the finished products of Britain country, our India has become the marketing place. As a result, peasants who had supplemented their income by part-time spinning and weaving had to now rely only on cultivation. Peasants are nothing but farmers. Okay, as a result, peasants who had supplemented their income by part-time spinning and weaving had to now rely only on what? Cultivation. Okay, so they lost their livelihood. Moreover, the Indian goods made with primitive techniques could not compete with industrial goods made in England. So this is the picture of textile industry. Next, the drain theory of Dadabhai Nauroji. So this one you have in short answer. Okay. Dadabhai Nauroji was the first to acknowledge that the poverty of the Indian people was due to the British exploitation of India's resources and the drain of India's wealth to Britain. So Dadabhai Nauroji was the first person to acknowledge the poverty of our Indian people and due to British exploitation of India's resources and drain of India's wealth to Britain. So British people, they drained our wealth and they took it to their country, Britain country. Okay. So this person, Dadabhai Nauroji, was the first person to acknowledge the poverty of Indian people. Okay. So here you could see the picture, that is map in page number 60, trading route. Okay. Trading route. So you could see here from London, the red color mark you can see from London, they are coming through Mediterranean Sea, Red Sea, and they reach Bombay, and from the same place Bombay they are taking route from Indian Ocean and they are crossing what? South Atlantic Ocean and they are reaching London. So this is trading route. Got it? Okay, next one is D. Trading policy of the British. All the policies implemented by the British government in India had a deep impact on India's indigenous industries. So whatever the policies implemented by British government in our country, it had a very deep impact of Indian indigenous industries. Free trade policy followed by the East India Company compelled the Indian traders to sell their goods below the market price. So they compelled East India Company, okay, they compel the Indian traders, okay, to sell the goods below the market price. This forced many craftsmen to abandon their ancestral handicraft talents. East India Company's aim was to buy the maximum quantity of Indian manufactured goods at the cheapest price and sell them to other European countries for a huge profit. This affected the traditional Indian industry. The British followed the policy of protective tariffs that was much against the trading interest of India. Heavy duties were charged on Indian goods in Britain, but at the same time, the English goods entering India were charged only nominal duties. Next, coming to deindustrialization. During the first half of 19th century, Western countries were experiencing industrialization. India suffered a period of industrial decline. In the mid of 19th century, our Western countries, okay, they were experiencing industrialization. Our country suffered in this industrial decline. The process of disruption of traditional Indian crafts and decline in national income has been referred to as deindustrialization. The Indian domestic industry could not have withstood foreign competition, which was backed by a powerful industrial organization, big machinery, large-scale production. The difficulties in Indian industries was complicated further by the construction of Suez Canal, because of which transport cost was reduced which made the British goods cheaper in India. The main cause for the decline of handicraft industry was the greater employment opportunities and income generating effect of the modern factory. Okay children, we'll just wind up to this. Next class we shall start beginning of modern industry. Thank you and take care.